You're listening to Black Parents Aging, where we help you navigate caring for aging loved ones. Every Wednesday, we'll discuss how to help your parents successfully navigate this new season of life. We are going to talk about legal, health, technology, and finances. Here's your host attorneys, Olivia Smith and Nicola Robinson.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Black Parents Aging. I am your host, Nicola Robinson, and my co-host is here today. Say hi to the people.
Hey, everybody.
It's Olivia, you guys, if you did not make that out. Today, we are talking about people who have done proper estate planning. So Olivia's mother pointed it out. Shout out to Dennis. But Olivia's mother pointed it out. Sometimes we talk about all the people who've done it wrong, or they didn't do it, or it fell apart, and all the perils and the discord that comes from that. So we wanted to take this time to talk about the people who actually did do some proper estate planning. They deserve some credit and they deserve some shout out. And we hope that by shining a light on some of those people, you will take that back to your parents and say, hey, look how smooth that was. And their family didn't have to fuss and fight.
And for yourself.
Right. Absolutely. So I'm going to let you kick it off with one person, and then I'm going to talk about the one I want to talk about.
Okay. Before I kick it off, though, I just want to say, I think it's a little more difficult when we're talking about people that did it right, because if you did it right, no one knows. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the whole point, that everything goes smoothly. You fly under the radar. Everything is taken care of, and no one really knows what's going on with your estate or who gets what. Like, that's the whole point.
And I think, and that you are absolutely right. We only get headlines and breaking news when some stuff was done in so piss poor.
Yes.
But I think we found piss poor. I'm just gonna be honest, because I keep thinking about our previous episode with your boy Gary Coleman.
Oh God, please don't. We don't want to go back to that deep dark place.
So yes, but these people did it right. I think the only reason we kind of heard even about theirs was because of some family who still was trying to do something different with it. But we can talk about what they did do properly. So kick us off.
Okay. So the first one I want to talk about is Paul Walker. And I want to talk about him because he died really young. So he died when he was our age. And for those of you, when I say Paul Walker, you're like, who is that? He is the Fast and the Furious guy. So I'm sure they're up to like Fast and Furious 25 by now. So he is the star of the Fast and the Furious line of movies. He died when he was only 40. But he left his multi-million-dollar fortune to his daughter through a trust, and his mother serves as guardian for his daughter. And so taken care of. No problems. He has who the guardian is going to be for his daughter. He has a way for his daughter to inherit everything he had. And I think for me, he was 40 and he had the presence of mind and the forethought to go ahead and make sure that his estate planning was done. And maybe it was because he had a child that he felt like he had to get that done.
Yeah. I mean, I think for a lot of us who have minor kids, that is a good motivator to get some of this done. But I mean, for our parents, they should be thinking about even maybe their grandkids.
Absolutely.
Like, that I know personally. My parents don't care if I get this stuff. Like,
right.
Like, let's just be real and be honest with it. Like, is that gonna motivate them? But the way they feel about their grandkids.
Yes.
Girl, they will move heaven and earth to make sure them jokers are good.
I know that is true.
Let minors be the motivator.
Yeah.
That's what it takes to make sure that you get your things in order. It's okay to say, you know what? My kids are grown. And truth of the matter is, if you raise them and they've gotten great careers, maybe they're married and they're financially secure. So that may not motivate you.
Right.
Some people are just like, that's not going to motivate me. But maybe it's making things for the minors that are important to you.
Totally agree with that. Who you got?
So, y'all.
Look at her. You can't see her face, but it just lit up.
Because this is one of my favorite people. Olivia knows I am obsessed with all things the Royals.
Oh, Lord. I already know where we're going. I already know where we're going.
I am Jamaican born. They used to own the country. So we have just huge ties to Britain and England and the Queen and everything. So I am talking about my girl, oh, may she rest in peace, Princess Diana. Y'all. If you just saw the interview with Harry and my favorite princess,
you better talk about it.
It was just so subtle, but you might have heard Harry say, "Oh, I'm living off the money my mama left us." And that was it. There was nothing even else to say. And so, I had to go on back and look and see what did his mama do? Because Harry is so much older and she died. He was a tiny tot.
Yeah.
And so something had to be done right if he is now at an age where he is still able to prosper and benefit off of everything that his mom did. So I'm going to give y'all some of the tea. His mother, my favorite princess, like I said, she did her estate planning. And originally, he was supposed to get his inheritance when he was 25. But some family members went back to the courts and got that changed to when he was 30. But she passed away in a car crash. Y'all probably remember this. I'm sure you do. But she passed away in a car crash in 1997. She left her mother and her sister as the executors over her estate. She did have a last will and testament that was dated in, I think, 1993, and then she updated it with a codicil in 96. She left assets around what would be the equivalent of $31.5 million. A
little change.
little something for the boys. So she left that for them back then. And her original will, like I said, when they turned 25. So she also left a lot of personal property, like all her jewelry and all of that was given to her boys. And then she penned a letter of her wishes that she said, okay, give all the jewelry and everything to my boys, plus all the money that was going to be held for them. And then she was leaving some things for her 17 godchildren, all who were minors at the time. Right. So her kids was taken care of, and even the kids that were important to her. So she did it right. She did it all right. And you do not have to have 31.5 million.
No. But can we talk about the fact that we're talking about a prince. Would you ever think that he would even need to fall back on what his mom left? Like, he's over in England being royal, being taken care of. So who would ever think that what his mom left him would come in handy? And that's a prince. So think about your own family and your own situation. You never know when you properly plan what a benefit and what a help that money can be for your kids or your grandkids. You just don't know. I mean, maybe she had an inkling because she knew the royal family, but I would have never thought that Harry would be hurting for money. And he probably isn't hurting. Like, his broke and my broke are two different brokes. Just the fact that he had that to fall back on. I caught that in the interview too, Nicola. I was like, now what now?
Yes. And the thing is, if things had not played out the way they had, then Harry could have left that for Archie.
Yeah.
So it could have continued a source for all her kids, her grandkids, even great grands. Like, that money could be flowing for multiple generations. Now, Harry had to dip in because
things done got crazy.
Right. But had he stayed in the royal line, been getting his royal check, he's born into it. It's not like he got this job and got fired. So he could have been doing that, living off of that money, and never needed the money from his mom. But again, I think the moral of, if you don't get anything out of it, is better to plan and your kids not need it.
Yes.
Than to not plan and they desperately need it and they are stuck in court trying to fight it out. And then the courts end up getting the large portion of it. Absolutely. And your kids get to trickle down what's left over.
Absolutely. That really caught my attention.
That's the kind of princess she was.
Yeah, that really caught my attention.
I feel like I know her personally. I met her, so
she's a BFF.
She was that person. She was thoughtful, not only in her interactions with the people of the country, but she loved her family and she loved her children. And so I think that estate planning is a outpour of that love.
Absolutely.
I think that when you love them and you don't want to leave them in chaos, that's what you do.
Yep. I totally agree. Okay, I got two others, Nicola. That was probably the best one. That was a good one. It was relevant. It just happened. I posted on Facebook. I was like, he basically gave a shout out for estate planning. Let me go ahead and post that. So that was a good one. This person we talked about when we were talking about planning don'ts, but he did do something in there that I think is worth mentioning, and that's your boy Michael Jackson. So we know that in the end, his will was contested and there have been legal battles about that. But in his will, he went so far as naming Diana Ross as his children's alternate guardian if his mother was unable to perform the role. And I think that is important because oftentimes us in our generation may name our parents, the grandparents, as if something happens to us to take care of the kids because they're the closest to the kids love them. And sometimes we don't think they're older than us though. So what happens if they predecease us, or what happens if they're not able to take care of minor children? And so the fact that he named an alternate guardian, I think is a good lesson. If you're going to name a parent, your children's grandparent as the guardian, you may want to also think about naming an alternate in case they can't carry out those responsibilities.
And I think what's a good point about Michael's as well is, although, the people fought about the money, there was never any issues about where the kids were going to be and who was going to take care of them. Because the reality is that Jackson family is large.
Yes.
And so had Michael not named his mama, you could have had his mama, you could have had his daddy, you could have had all them siblings fighting over his
That's
kids.
true.
Like, real talk. He was close with Janet. He ain't really fool with his daddy, but his daddy and Janet would have had just as much right to those kids if nobody was named. And so you cut down on even that kind of friction where it's just like, okay, we have a plan in place. We know exactly who's going to take care of these kids.
I agree. I thought that was really good. Okay, so my last one is Frank Sinatra. Now, and I like his because I tell my clients all the time, your family. If they're a peaceable bunch or if they like to get it popping, and at the barbecue, there's always a fight. Like, who your family is. And Frank obviously knew his family and knew the confusion that possibly he had created having been married 4 times. And so with his estate planning, he put a clause in his will to prevent fights over his estate. And that was a concern because he'd been married 4 times and his estate was estimated upwards of $100 million. And the clause basically said anyone who contests the will would automatically be disinherited.
That's it.
And that gets everybody together real quick. Like, he has over $100 million and you want to fight over whatever piece you're going to get, you're not going to get anything. That closes mouths really quick. And so I think because he knew what he had left with his 4 marriages, he took extra precaution to make sure that his estate and the probating of his will and whatever needed to happen was going to be as peaceable as possible. And I think that is a good example for us to look at as well.
Yes, I love it. Because it's one of those things, it's like, he left me this 1 million. I'm not gonna spend another million of my own coins to go to court in hopes of getting more. But
and if I lose,
I'm just out of the million I spent plus what I could have gotten from him.
Right.
So you're like, is that really worth it?
Got to count those costs up. It's some cost benefit analysis there.
And that's real, because sometimes our clients don't think about that. When you talk about, well, I'm not going to do anything, there's a cost to you not doing anything.
It is. And just, your family. It always surprises me when people are like, I can't believe that family is in court fighting. I can't believe that they're not talking to each other. Really? Because I could believe it. Like, why couldn't you have to be honest about, you can love people and still be honest about who they are. And if you're honest about who they are, then you can take the proper steps to make sure that things are done the way you want them done. And I think he did a great job by adding that clause into his will.
I tell people all the time, look at your children. Did they fight when you were not in the room? And almost inevitably they say, yeah, like, because kids are going to be as natural and be who they are as they come. So when you're not going to be in the room,
that's it.
And they're adults, listen, they're probably going to be the same way.
That's it. I totally agree with that. Totally agree. That's all I got.
Well, again, the list of people who did it right is real hard to find.
I'm gonna be looking now though, because my mom did say, like, can y'all give us some hope? Like, can you tell us the joy of the people that did it right and how easy it was? So now I'm gonna be looking for that so that I can share that with you guys as well.
Yes. So that is it for today's episode. We hope we have left you with some hope and
Yes.
some positivity
Yes.
in this episode to understand like what relief and what true comfort it probably gave these families, knowing that everything was spelled out. We're not in court. We're not having, well, some end up in court, but still it minimized even the things that had to go through court.
Right.
So we hope that you get some takeaways from that and you take that back to your families and you decide, hey, we probably need to do that too, because we don't want the drama.
Absolutely.
So that's it. Like our episode, share it with friends and family. Reach out to us. You can always find us on Facebook, Black Parents Aging. We have a group there, as well as leave a comment. And we love to hear from you guys. Leave us a review, leave us a comment, whatever it is. Like I said, this is safe space. So if it's something you want to hear about, please, please, please let us know. All right. Until next time.
See you guys later.
Thanks for joining us this week on Black Parents Aging. Check out our Facebook group at Black Parents Aging, where we go live to answer your questions. For more info on today's topic, check out the show notes on our website, srlawgrp.com. If you know someone who could benefit from today's episode, please share a link to the show. Subscribe to the show to catch new episodes and leave a review. Until next week.